This is the Audi R8, and it's a little bit like a Siberian tiger in the way that it's beautiful, it's powerful, and it's got an incredible roar. Also like the Siberian tiger, it's about to go extinct. You ain't going to be seeing naturally aspirated V10s for much longer. Thankfully, unlike the Siberian tiger, it won't rip your face off. It's actually a very manageable supercar, and to prove it, in this video, I'm actually going to see how close I can get to the claimed 0 to 60 sprint time, even though it's winter and the track is all wet. I'm also going to prove that it can be fun despite being an all-wheel drive Audi by seeing if you can hoon it around like you can some old school BMW M car. Reason being that one of my team has bought an M car. More on that later. I'm Matt Watson and you're watching Carwow. Let's kick off this video by talking about the price. So the Audi R8 range kicks off with a rear-wheel drive only model, which starts from around £117,000. If you want the security of Quattro all-wheel drive, and I recommend you do, then you're looking at £130,000. So if you want to upgrade some of the performance, you can get the performance model. See what they did there? That'll cost you from £140,000. Now let's talk about the design, because this is a beautiful looking car. Underneath, it shares lots of its parts with a Lamborghini Huracan, but I'd rather have this. I know somebody wouldn't. They'd say something else. All day, every day. But they're wrong. It's a great piece of design, this car. I mean, just look at the back end of it. I love this wing that you get on the performance model. Carbon fibre is standard on the performance. The normal Quattro and rear wheel drive don't have the rear wing. Party piece though is this. Just seeing that V10 engine through the rear screen. Absolutely gorgeous. Huge exhaust pipes as well. Though these surrounds, they're fake, but there are real exhausts hidden within there. And of course, classic Audi look. We've got scrolly indicators. Scrolly McScroll. Anyway, let's move on. Side of this car, so iconic with these side blades. You get different colours depending on which model you go for. Same with wheel sizes. They start at 19 inches, rising to 20s. Oh, stunning. Yeah, you know I like it. You can get a carbon black edition, which has all these parts in carbon black, as the name suggests. Audi does that a lot, you know, performance, carbon black, simple to keep up. Front's really good as well. There's no engine here at the front, so it's quite interesting that they still have an Audi-ish grille. It's not as big as on normal Audis, but still, when you compare it to something like a Lamborghini with its flush nose, it's quite interesting. Yeah, I like it. I really like it a lot. What do you reckon? Would you rather have one of these than a Lamborghini Huracan? And I'm just talking about the looks, okay? I'm just talking about the looks. Which would you have? Let me know in the comments. The inside of the R8 is just as wonderful as the outside. Quality of the materials is exemplary, and everything feels really solid. Perfectly screwed together. You don't think this car's ever going to develop a rattle. Also, it looks very sporty. Yeah, it's also super easy and logical to use. I love the air conditioning controls for the ventilation system. Look at that. You've got your fan in that one, you've got your temperature setting there, then you've got your direction for the heating here. It's all very clever. I also like the fact that you have your drive select mode for your different driving modes on the steering wheel. In other Audis, you have to press down here, so it's annoying when you're driving. They should do it like this on all of them. This car, because it's the performance model, has an extra sporty button there where you can control the different performance modes, which is really nice. You don't get that on the rear-wheel drive version or the normal Quattro model. It's a bit of a shame. In terms of storage, it's a supercar, you can't expect too much, but you've got a little storage tray under there, and this one has wireless charging for your mobile phone. But if you've got a big phone like my Galaxy S20 in a case, it ain't fitting, doesn't fit. So you're gonna have to charge it the old-fashioned way using the two USBs there, and you've got a 12-volt socket as well there if you need it. The glove box is a good size. So look at this, I can fit that flask in this way. That's incredible, really. If only I could fit the flask in the door bins as well, because that'd be handy when I'm driving along if I want to drink. Now the seats, yeah, we've got nice leather seats, and high-spec versions actually have bucket seats. These aren't them, but they're still nice anyway. Love this interior. And if you need to squeeze some coats and stuff inside the car with you, you can just lay them all on this shelf here, and there's a little luggage net there as well. That's it for the interior, really. It's simple, it's nicely designed, and it's comfortable, yet very sporty. Anyway, let's check out the practicality. So I'm going to open the front boot to go see what it's like. The capacity of this fruit is just 112 litres. By comparison, Porsche 911 Turbo S's boot is 132 litres, and of course it has the added benefit of some back seats which you can fold down. In fact, if you'd like to watch my in-depth video review of that car and see how quick that thing is from 0 to 60, put a little link in the top right hand corner of the screen. You click on that, you can go watch the video. There's also a link in the description below. Anyway, look at this. This is all you've got here. That's your luggage space. And it's made worse by the fact it's quite narrow. I'll illustrate now. Normally you can get into these boots quite easily in the fronts of these cars, but not in this one. In fact, right, can I get in it? Let's see. Oh, let's see. My hips are quite narrow. Oh crap! I'm wedged. Ollie, his hand, mate. I need to get out.
No, mate, it's funny.
No, come on.
No.
What? Hey, what's going on? Where we going? Oh my! Don't go out on bloody track. That brings me on to 5 annoying things about this car. The cup holders are just underneath here. They're a bit annoying. Look at this, right? They're not quite tight enough to hold your energy drink securely. So when you accelerate, it's gonna topple out and spill caffeinated liquid everywhere. And then look, another issue is this. When you have got things in there, it's just like in your way. Oh. When Audi updated this car as part of a midlife facelift, they went and fitted a soft limiter to the engine, so when it's stationary you can't rev it past 3,000 RPM, so you can't enjoy the V10. Listen, it just stops you revving it. You can't show off to your friends or be a hooligan. You can't even do that thing when you're driving along and pull both pedals to put into neutral and then rev it when you're going through a tunnel. It just does this, just the same. I'm paying for a V10 engine, let me hear it. Swipe out. The cruise control you get with this car is just the old-fashioned basic system. You can't get adaptive cruise control with lane keeping assist, which you get as standard on a Toyota Yaris. Rubbish. I love that feature, but you can't get it here, and it's going to be annoying because you might want to take this car on a really long road trip, and at some point you'll be on the motorway, which is boring, and it'll be very helpful. Why haven't we got it, Audi? Why? Believe it or not, this car actually has Isofix anchor points for a child seat, so you can take your baby to daycare in your R8. That is, unless you go for the rather cool bucket seats, because then you lose the Isofix functionality. Shame. Anyone who says that the Audi R8 isn't a supercar, normally you can just say, well, it does over 200 miles an hour, therefore it has to be a supercar, not a sports car. However, the rear-wheel drive only version, its top speed is 199 miles an hour. I just don't understand why Audi didn't manage to get that one over the 200 mile an hour mark as well. Thankfully, this car has plenty of cool features to help make up for all this. Here's 5. From performance models and above, you get carbon ceramic brakes as standard, which is great if you want to take your R8 on track. The range-topping carbon black also gets adaptive dampers, which Audi calls magnetic ride because it uses magnets in them. Now, if you have magnetic ride fit to the car and you can fit it as an option on the other R8s, then you get stiffer anti-roll bars, and they're made out of a mixture of aluminium and carbon fibre. The R8 is largely hand-built at Audi's special Bollinger-Hoffen factory, and it's actually built by the same guys that build the GT racing cars. And in fact, 50% of this car's parts are shared with the GT3 model. The rear drive version of the R8 is 65 kilos lighter than the normal Quattro because you haven't got the all-wheel drive system. It also has a special drift mode, so this is slightly different to having all the stability control off because it actually lets you do big drifts, but it controls them for you, so you can look like a pro even though you're just semi-pro. I love the way the engine cover just opens so elegantly. Now, if you look carefully, you'll notice that the engine is actually offset. So cameraman Jack, if you just move into the middle of the car, you'll see it's not symmetrical. With the Audi badge, if you move back, you'll see there's the middle of the engine. Now, that's obviously for packaging reasons to do with the gearbox and stuff like that. However, in a Lamborghini, this brace remains central, so it looks a bit odd. So you can tell it's offset dead easy, and it's a bit kind of annoying. Whereas with this Audi, they've moved the brace across as well, so it's symmetrical. So when you first look at it, as long as you're not dead rear on, you can't really tell that the engine's offset, which is pleasing for people like me with OCD. The R8 uses a aluminium space frame chassis, just like a racing car, and it's reinforced with carbon fibre, so it's nice and stiff, perfect for the girls and some of the boys. I've been looking forward to filming this part of the video because it's a freezing cold day and I can warm myself on this hot engine. It's a 5.2 litre naturally aspirated Lamborghini Drive V10, and it drives either the rear wheels or all four wheels via a 7-speed dual clutch automatic gearbox. Now in the rear wheel drive version you have 540 horsepower and 540 newton meters of torque. In the normal Quattro model you have 570 horsepower and 560 newton meters of torque, and in this performance version you get the full 620 horsepower and 580 newton meters of torque. Interestingly, that's 20 newton meters less than you get from the 2.9 litre twin turbo V6 in the RS5. One of the things I really love about this Audi R8 is that while it's a four-wheel drive Audi, it can go full hooligan mode. So if you turn all the safety systems off, put it in dynamic mode, it can pretty much send most of its power to the rear wheels. Now, cameraman Jack has just bought himself an E46 M3, and he likes being a bit of a hooligan in it, especially when it's damp. Thing is, in this supercar, I can behave just as badly, which is insane when you think about it. And it's really, really easy to do as well. Let's go the other way. And the other way. And of course, you don't look like some silly boy racer because you've got a proper, lovely supercar. Audi says this car can do 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds, but let's see what it'll really do. So I've got my specialist timing gear up here. Slippy track, cold tyres, who cares? It's an Audi R8. Oh, the car cared. A lot. Rubbish. Now that was rubbish, right? And I still did a 4.48. Spun up its wheels a bit, then bogged. Still did that. Let's give it another go. Okay, let's try again. Hook up. Better that time. Oh, it's going for it. Oh, got a 3.13 and it was still spinning. Whoa. Madness, madness, madness. A 3.13 and it still wasn't a perfect start. Yeah, because the quarter mile is 11.16. I know it'd go a lot quicker than that. Let's try again. Come on. Reset this. Hope you're not getting bored. I'm not. I'm enjoying this. Let's do it. No, that wasn't so good. Got all skipping sideways. Come on, what we got? Oh, yes, we did it. 0 to 60 in 3 seconds dead, even though this thing was going sideways slightly. Immense. And what a soundtrack to accompany it as well. Such drama. In fact, I'm gonna have a play with the engine. Go in manual mode and just, oh, I love the dials as well. Oh, V10 for the win, V10 for the win. In fact, what do you think is the best sounding engine configuration? What I've done is put a pinned comment below this video, right, with a selection. You vote which you think is the best combination, right? Go vote. Obviously, there's no point having all that performance if the car doesn't stop. So I'm gonna do a brake test from 70 miles an hour, see how long it takes to come to a complete standstill. Bearing in mind it's slippery, let's do it. Come on, come on. Right, let's see what this says. How many meters? 48 meters. 48 meters, even though it's slippery. That's good. Oh, it's so good. And it's so easy to drive fast, this thing as well. Some performance cars, they can be a little bit unruly. This is dead simple. My mum could get in this and just hoon it. She could, absolutely. She'd love it as well, I reckon. Absolutely love it. Gearbox, really quick and reactive. I can't fault the handling. This thing just grips like a good one. It gives you loads of confidence as well when you want to get on the power out of a corner. And with that Quattro all-wheel drive, it can just mean it sends some power to the front, so you can really haul yourself out of a corner. So very good. So much fun when you want it to be, and in some ways too quick for the road. Really, really is. But if you just want to out daily, this car, you can do, because it can be quite chilled. So drive select, let's go into comfort mode. This one's fitted with the adaptive dampers. I'm going over a gnarly bit of track, and it's actually doing a really good job, soaking up the bumps, no problem at all. And then you can just cruise around. It's actually not that bad to drive in town over speed bumps and things like that. The only problem is the rear visibility, but you've got a really nice reversing camera. I'm just going to show you it now. The actual image is right there in front of you on the instruments. So it's good, and you get the lines which help you turn as well. So that's handy. Don't want to be reversing up the track though. Great. And then when you are just pootling about and you're in automatic, the gearbox is nice and smooth and relaxing. And forward visibility, it's great. Really nice big windscreen, low scuttle, so the dash is nice and low, so you can really judge where the front of the car is. I do love the R8, I have done for ages. Great car, and less in your face than the Lamborghini. I certainly prefer the interior and find it just more comfortable to travel in over longer distances than the Lambo, even though, you know, underneath the skin, very similar to the Huracan. But being naturally aspirated, yeah, it doesn't quite have that pulling power. It's an engine you absolutely have to wring its neck, and it's worthwhile doing that. Look, I'm at 6,000 RPM, and I've still got almost 3,000 revs to play with, just utterly nuts. In fact, let's turn up the volume, go into performance mode. I could just do this all day long, or until the fuel runs out. Oh, no wonder I'm only averaging 16 miles to the gallon. Oh well, who cares? Probably the Siberian tigers. Kind of killing the habitat, probably, with all the greenhouse gas I'm producing. So then, what's my final verdict on the Audi R8? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon, if you like this kind of car, just go right ahead and buy it. It's absolutely brilliant and surprisingly good value for money for a supercar. Now, if you all enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you want to watch some other videos, just click on the windows there, some cool videos. And if you click on that box there, you can go straight to Carwow to see how much money you can save on a new car. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.